The Knicks just finished beating the Charlotte Hornets by a score of 115 to 91, and I'm here to break it down. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dario from Knicks Digest, and we're gonna get right into today's video. The Knicks just finished beating the Charlotte Hornets by, like I said, by a score of 115 to 91, and tonight's game was actually it had a little bit more on the line than usual. It's more than your typical Tuesday night game in November. So this was the last night of the in-season tournament. And the Knicks, they going into today's game, they had to win by a big margin. They ended up doing so. But needless to say, there was another scare in the game, especially in the third quarter. That might be one of their patterns this year, where starting the third quarter they just start horrendously. They did that against the Miami Heat last week. Going into halftime, they were up by one. I believe the score was 52 to 51. And then third quarter, Miami just blew the doors open. And this game, same thing. I think they were up by 16 at halftime, and then third quarter, the Charlotte Hornets just came to play, and the Knicks looked like they were lackadaisical and they were still sleeping a little bit. And Charlotte Hornets, they brought it all the way back to 1 point, I believe. But then the Knicks just came. Then they woke up and they came to play, and then they brought the lead back up. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because tonight was the last game of the group play of the in-season tournament, and like I said earlier, the Knicks needed to win by a big margin in order to solidify a spot in the quarterfinals, and they ended up doing so. And I believe Milwaukee needed to beat Miami as well, which they ended up doing by 5 points. So that solidified the Knicks in the quarterfinals as being a wild card. So that's good news. The Knicks are in the quarterfinals of the in-season tournament. And I don't know if I've given my take as far as the in-season tournament. I know Chris, by the way, shout out Chris. He's been killing it on Knicks Digest, putting out content like nobody's business. But me personally, I've never really gave my take as far as the in-season tournament. If I'm for it, if I'm not, and honestly, I am. It's just tonight specifically is what the NBA needed, and it's exactly why the NBA created this in-season tournament, because just another Tuesday night in November, people aren't really paying attention to these games. Prior to this season, the biggest thing was that people were saying that the NBA really started on Christmas Day, and now that the in-season tournament has started and we have important games in November, people are tuning in. You're hearing a lot of chatter about how the players are buying into it because the winner of the whole thing gets $500,000 extra. That's a really big incentive. Money does rule the world, unfortunately, but yeah, and you're hearing people all over the NBA, Jalen Brunson, Manuel quickly saying that like they want to play for the guys at the end of the bench, like Ryan Archidiakono. They would, because they know that they're not making a lot of money, so that extra 500 stacks is gonna come in handy, and they want to play. They want to play for those guys. But yeah, I mean, I'm for it. I'm definitely for it. I'm a diehard NBA fan. I love watching the game. And yeah, I mean, in past seasons, games in November, games in December, games were very like, it was just whatever. It was like, okay, cool, we're gonna watch the Knicks play against, I don't know, the Washington Wizards. But now this season, it's part of the in-season tournament. And now the Knicks are gonna be able to go to Vegas to play for that title. And the Knicks haven't won anything since what, 71, 72. And as much as people don't really want to make it out to be a thing, it is a thing. It's like if the NBA set this up lovely for everybody to try and win, then you might as well go out and win it. And like I just said, the incentive for the winner is $500,000 extra. I think second place is $250,000 extra. So like if you're in it, you might as well go win it. And for the Knicks, if the Knicks actually pull this off and get that W and are able to hoist that trophy at the end of the tournament, it does mean something because they haven't won anything since 1971, 1972, which was their last championship. Ever since then, the 90s. There were deep playoff runs, but somebody by the name of Michael Jordan existed. And then after the 90s, they've had two playoff series wins. So like the Knicks, as far as rich history, it's not really there. But as far as tonight, let's talk about a little bit of tonight's game. So as far as Julius Randle ended up with 25 points. He ended up shooting 8 of 15 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3 point. Ended up with 20 rebounds, 5 assists. So a 20-20 game for Julius Randle. Granted, it is the Charlotte Hornets. And Chris and I, we put out a video a few weeks ago when it was like the first time the Knicks were playing Charlotte this season. Um, Charlotte is the 2020 game from Julius Randle is nice, but it's got to be a little bit of an asterisk because Charlotte, they're just that team, that organization is a mess, man. It's like they have the talent, but they're never able to put it together, and I don't know why. So I'm happy for Julius Randle. He had a really solid game, but again, you got to put a little asterisk to it because it is a Charlotte Hornets. Mitchell Robinson ended up with just 6 points, but as far as rebounds, he ended up with 10, five offensive, five defensive, and he also had one of those crazy putbacks. Mitchell Robinson is continuing his strong start to the NBA season, being one of the better bigs in the league. Jalen Brunson ended up with 12 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. So, I mean, it wasn't a great game for him, but he did have his moments, and he did impact the game in other ways, getting everybody else involved, which we want to see from a leader. Barrett ended with 16 points, 3 of 13 from the field, not great. 1 of 4 from 3, not great. But he got to 16 points because he was 9 of 9 from the free throw line. And again, like I keep saying in my videos, one of the stats that I look at is the free throws. I want to see how many times a particular player is going to the line. I want to see how many times the player is able to convert from the free throw line, because RJ Barrett, 9 of 9, great, 100%. But what I'm looking at is the 9 free throw attempts. So it seems like he was being very aggressive going to the hole, and the refs looked like they respected him and they gave him those calls. Quentin Grimes, 6 points, 2 of 4 from the field, 2 of 3 from three. I mean, Quentin Grimes, he's looked at as one of if not the primary defenders on the Knicks team. I feel like he's in a little bit of a slump. It's a long season, so hopefully he'll be able to get out of it. But Emmanuel Quickly, man, Emmanuel Quickly with 23 points, 9 of 20 from the field, 4 of 10 from three, 1 of 1 from free throws. So nothing to boast about in the free throws. But Emmanuel Quickly, man, he is making his case for being one of, if not the better six man to come off the bench in the league. Last season, he was in the conversation. I forgot who ended up winning it, but he was right behind the winner. And this season, I think Emmanuel Quickly is really trying to come out and trying to get that trophy. He's just instant offense with the second group, but he's also able to play with the first group with Randall, Brunson, Barrett. Like, he's able to blend in seamlessly. And yeah, I mean, the only thing with Quickly is we got to see this in the playoffs, man. The last two times that he's been in the playoffs, the first time was with the Atlanta Hawks, like he a complete no show, and we ended up losing that series. And then last season against the Miami Heat in the second round, like, yeah, he ended up getting injured, but before that injury, like, he wasn't really being Emmanuel Quickly, and we need him to be that all-star six man. Yes, throughout the regular season, but we specifically need it in the playoffs. The more people we can have contribute to the team, the further the Knicks can go, obviously. Great W by the Knicks. It's good to pile on these W's for the regular season, but again, in season tournament, this was a big W because it allowed us to go further into the East season tournament, and now they are in the quarterfinals and they will be playing as a wild card. So we're gonna see where the Knicks lie. As far as the Eastern Conference, I know that Indiana, Boston, Milwaukee, and Knicks. Those are the 4 teams that are gonna continue for the Eastern Conference and the East season tournament. And yeah, man, hopefully we'll see the Knicks hoist that trophy at the end of the tournament. But moving forward, the next game they have is on Thursday against the Detroit Pistons. Should be another W. So again, we need to pile on these W as much as we can. The teams that we should beat, we should be beating. And Detroit is another team that's in the retooling phase. They got bright stars, they got bright young players. Cade Cunningham, one of the Thompson twins, Jalen Duren. They have good pieces, but they're just super young and they're learning how to play, especially in the NBA. So the Knicks need to take advantage of that. And like I just said, they need to win as many games as possible against the teams that they should beat. I am looking forward to seeing Julius Randle just ramp up his offensive output. It looks like his ankle is getting a little more stronger. It looks like he's getting more confidence in that surgically repaired ankle. So rough start to the season for Randle, but kudos to him for not getting rattled, not getting frazzled, and just sticking to it, sticking to the grind, shutting up all the Julius Randle haters. I might be one of them, so sorry, Julius. But yeah, man, no, that's a good look for Julius. Hopefully, for the rest of the season, it only goes up from here. All right, so that's it for this video, guys. Again, I want to shout out my guy Chris. He's been killing it on Knicks Digest, putting out content like it's nobody's business. Hopefully on Thursday, we'll get a post-game show with me and Chris. But until next time, we'll check you on the next video. Peace.